Inside this building, the University College of Ripon and York St John, on the outskirts of the historic city of Ripon in North Yorkshire, lies one of the most fascinating testaments as to what life used to be like in this country. The Yorkshire Film Archive is a young concern as far as archives go. It was set up in 1986, but the material it houses stretches back through the generations, almost to the infancy of film. We'll be showing you a cross-section of life in Yorkshire between the turn of the century and the new Elizabethan age of the 1950s, an age of dark satanic mills and steam trains, of King Coal and the mighty steel industry, but an age as well where country areas had barely come to terms with the 20th century. Nearly all the excerpts you're about to see were shot by amateurs. Nowadays, video is available to virtually everybody, but for the filmmaker in the 1920s, or for that matter the 1950s, the costs were prohibitive. So the results had to be that little more thought out, perhaps some might say even that little bit better. This first item may not be the best bit of film in the archive, but it's certainly the oldest. It was shot in May 1897, on the occasion of Queen Victoria's visit to Sheffield to open the new town hall. We move on now to 1916. The city of Ripon in North Yorkshire played host to a large contingent of the British Army during the First World War, including the poet Wilfred Owen. The Highland Sports Day helped keep spirits up. But within months, many of these young men would be dead in the trenches of the Somme. By 1922, normality had returned after the horrors of the Great War. This is Carnival Day at Eccles Hill, on the outskirts of Bradford, and as you'll see in a minute, the silver screen had already produced its first great star. Pictures such as these are marvellously nostalgic, but some filmmakers were looking at a more serious use of the medium. The film you're about to see goes to the root of Yorkshire's industrial past. Made in 1932, it's a record of the Wormold and Walker woolen mill in Dewsbury, complete with London and North Eastern Railway steam engines and horses. One of the most exciting collections in the Yorkshire Film Archive is that of Charles Chislett. He was a bank manager from Rotherham who spent a great deal of time and money on his favourite hobby, and his ability to realise the importance of everyday events has left us with a quite remarkable visual record of life in the 1940s and 50s. In this first extract, from his Dale's Days film, we follow the cheese-making process from beginning to end at the Wensleydale Creamery in Hawes. It's a unique bit of film featuring the legendary Kit Calvert, who saved the factory from extinction the first time round. A beautiful bit of film, I think you'll agree. Charles Chislet's children played a major part in several of his films, and this next one is a charming period piece from 1939. Filmed in Whitby and on Filey Beach, it's a loving record of the joys of a family holiday, and a far cry from today's Mediterranean package tours. As these children played happily, the spectre of war again hung over the country. The archive has a large collection of Second World War footage, and this next example is typical of the spirit that kept Yorkshire going. It was shot at periods throughout the war by an amateur filmmaker in Holmfirth, better known nowadays as Last of the Summer Wine Country. It's not of the same technical calibre as the Chislet films, but it's certainly an antidote to the official war films of the time.
During the various savings weeks, when people were asked to invest money to buy armaments, the first event took the form of a ceremonial parade through Holmfirth. A red Messerschmitt was on show. Excited boys were allowed to examine the shot-down plane. On the following Saturday of War Weapons Week, there was another parade by massed local bands. Then followed a firefighting display by the Auxiliary Fire Service. The amount of money invested during the War Weapons Week in the Holmfirth Urban District was £288,000. Later, Lord Harwood inspected the RAF cadets in Gartside Estate. He then opened the new Royal Air Force headquarters at Lane End. Another great savings effort, Wings for Victory Week, took place in April 1943, when the appeal was for the Air Force. The procession was headed by the ATC band, followed by the Army Cadet Corps and the Girls Training Corps, the Girl Guides and the Air Training Corps. Children of Hepworth School out for a nature walk, carrying their gas masks. They had to be always on the alert to rush to the air raid shelter at Hepworth House if the siren sounded during school hours. Top-class boys digging for victory in the school garden. The strength of the Home Guard was reassuring to the people of Holmfirth when the chairman of the council, Councillor Joe Lockwood, took the salute. As members, many well-known figures in public life paraded through the town. Members of the National Savings Committee met together to commemorate the district's splendid effort during Wings for Victory Week. £213,000 was invested. An artistic savings plaque and RAF logbooks were exchanged at a special ceremony. The Women's Voluntary Service organised the Make Do Amend exhibition in the Holmfirth Council chamber. This was honoured by a visit from the Princess Royal, who was shown around the exhibition. Later, she visited the hostel for evacuees. The people of Choppards celebrated victory with their own large bonfire. A busy scene at Choppards Farm, threshing corn. This record ends with the victory bonfire in Victoria Park, Holmfirth.
The picture of a charming girl walking down the steps of the Majestic opens our story of the CEA garden party at Harrogate. What a garden, and what a party. To the uninitiated, it is a little puzzling to try and guess what a mannequin parade is doing in the program, but after all, why not? Clothes form a very important part of film entertainment, and dash it all, we're all interested in clothes. Fortune smiled upon the conference this year, and the grounds were bathed in sunshine. But the way these beauties keep on appearing is rather disconcerting when you're trying to appreciate the beauties of the scenery. Last year we took pictures of the golf match, but this year we've done better. We took the waters at Harrogate, and look what we found in them. In these days of severe competition, it's a whole man's job to look after those box office figures. And boy, how we look. Uh-oh.
Sheffield and steel used to be synonymous. Today it's hard to imagine just how important this industry once was, but thanks to Charles Chislett, we can relive those great days. The Parkgate Steelworks in Rotherham was a huge concern. The iron ore that fed the furnaces came from another victim of England's industrial decline, nearby Leicestershire, which is where our excerpt starts. Let's move away from Yorkshire's industrial heritage for a while to more leisurely pursuits. These next two sequences will certainly stir a few memories. We begin with a film shot somewhere in South Yorkshire. Perhaps one of you can tell us the location. Then it's on to Christmas and a child's eye view of the kind of presents that were all the rage in the early 1950s. Many of the places that we've visited in this video have vanished without trace or changed beyond recognition. But some haven't. These clips from Dale's days could have been filmed today. All the buildings that you'll see are still there. But just try and count the other things that have long vanished that make these images so valuable in preserving the history of Yorkshire. Amateur filmmakers turned their eyes to the most unlikely subjects for their inspiration. The sequence you're about to see was shot by the manager of Sharp's Floor Coverings of Bradford in 1946. It's about street cleaning and refuse collection, not the kind of things that spring to mind as being worthy of filming. But thank goodness he did. The last excerpt in this trip round the vaults of the Yorkshire Film Archive is a journey by barge from Sheffield to Thorn. Shot by Charles Chislett in the early 1950s, it's a tantalising glimpse of a life and a landscape that's imperceptibly vanished from our lives. Some of Chislett's editing is a bit brutal, so keep the pause button handy if you have one. There are all sorts of images on this voyage that you'll want to stop and have a look at.